Yo, what's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me is always my buddy, my coach, pal, the man with the plan, the one and only John Meleka. But before we ask John how he's doing today, guys, you know what it is. You got to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it, we are there. On top of that, if you haven't rated this podcast, please make sure, especially if you listen to us on Spotify or Apple, please make sure you give us that 5-star. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a comment too. That helps out oh so greatly. Guys, we're also on YouTube now, so make sure to go search for us on YouTube. Look for Knicks, Jets, etc. Make sure you subscribe to that page. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you know when new episodes drop. And whenever you watch a video, just hit the like button. It's just a kind thing to do. All right. Also, while you're there, check out Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, go down the NFL slate. We got NBA action coming up. Super Bowl, when you listen to this, is just finished. And, you know, we're recording before the Super Bowl even starts. So the LA Rams are now victory. They're the victors of this game. Yes, John's shaking his head because he doesn't like that. He wants it to be the Bengals. He wants Joe Burrow. He wants that icy cold man to go win today. But I want Matthew Stafford to get one because he was in purgatory out in Detroit. And he needs it, man. He needs it. I wish Megatron would come out of retirement for one day to join him on the Rams too. But that's another story for another day.
They need it. They need it. Whatever.
Whatever, indeed. And then last and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we're there. John, my man, John, how you doing today, man? You're wearing a black hoodie like I am. It's got some orange and blue in there as well, just like me. We're dressed just two different hoodies. How you feeling, bro? It's a nice Sunday for a Super Bowl.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Woke up. It was 60 degrees in New York yesterday. Today it's snowing.
Same.
It was a fun morning though. What to go see? Some really, really good girls high school basketball, number 1 and number 2 teams in New Jersey. And the number 1 team won, and some really nasty players on both squads. And the number 1 team from Jersey is trying to become number 1 in the nation end of the month. Like, it's really cool. And then their brackets about to start, their playoffs. These teams might play each other. That was really cool to watch some actual basketball, especially after yesterday. The Knicks game really broke me. It was fun to watch, like Clay at the end, right? Like we had a double header. It was nice to get my mind off a little bit, but dude, I really needed like a cleanse after that Portland game, man. How did we lose that game, Alex? How are you? How was your weekend? And tell me, for God's sakes, how on earth the Knicks lost that game yesterday?
My weekend's going well so far. You know, as you said, it was a very nice weekend, 60-degree day out here in the Beantown. So I went out for a nice hour-and-a-half walk, getting ready for the game. You know, got some snacks to watch the game as well. Get back home, 5 o'clock turns on. You're starting to watch this game. You're like, coming out a little slow. Then they pick up in the second quarter, man. They're playing team basketball. Honestly, Randle was playing one of his best games I've ever seen this entire season. He was doing everything right down to the T, whether it was driving into the lane, finding guys out on the perimeter, posting up, taking open shots, just shooting in rhythm, everything you want. This is the Randle that we've been asking for this entire season, and he gave it to us. And then the entire team, second unit didn't do jack outside of the first half. They were gone quickly. I don't know what's going on with that playmaking. She showed some good playmaking. Yesterday was just a dud. He is struggling hardcore. Obi couldn't get involved because if there's no point guard to get him going, no point, then he's just, you know, SOL at that point. Grimes putting that work. Cam Reddish looking nice. I could be hyped about those guys, but sheesh, Kemba Walker said, yo, I heard Meleka talk about me. He's like, yo, hold up 1 second. Talk to me nice, bro. Talk to me nice. But then
I'm not going to talk to him nice.
But then the fourth quarter comes. We had a 23-point lead. Well, I don't blame Kemba for that. I blame a lot of other things. Kemba was not an issue for that. There was wow. Evan Fournier going 1 for 13 is a massive issue. All right. Yes. Massive issue. But 23-point lead, man. We dropped a 23-point lead, and Tom Thibodeau using timeouts at like the wrong moments, dude. He just allowed he allowed Portland to get back into this. That's usually that's his best quality, is calling timeouts when he starts to see a run coming. Yeah. And then he waited way too late. But dude, that game had me so tight. I was frustrated yesterday, man. We should have had that one. We played a G League Trailblazers team. Outside of Anthony Simons and Nurkic, you allowed I really can't believe. You had Ben McLemore. You had Ben McLemore get 17 points. You had Hart. You had Josh Hart out here looking like Klay Thompson for 3. He went 50% yesterday, dude. Had 23 points.
He always kills the Knicks. He's on that list with Trataros.
I hate it out here, bro. I hate it out here. This team is so frustrating. This is where I stand to what I told you, like after the trade deadline, man. Like, what are we doing out here? These are the games you got to win. Like you want, like this was very possible to go on a 4-game winning streak. You lose like this to a G League team, you put me into the corner of just being down and out, man. When the Knicks play like this, not you personally, but like when the Knicks play like this, I'm just down and out.
No, I feel you. This was a tough game, and not because it was a loss, but it's because we were supposed to win, and not because Portland is down bad because they traded half their squad, like you're alluding to, but because we were up by 1 million. Like we were up by so many points this game, and it's not like we took our foot off the gas. Really, we kind of just started getting beat. It's almost like they just figured us out, and it was like a race against the clock. But then, like, when you look at the fourth quarter, like, they killed us. It wasn't even close. Even if we have a 50-point lead, I feel like we would have blew that.
Oh, my God.
And you're right. Like, it's 48 going 1 for 10, massive issue from 3. I agree with you. But also, Randle going 0 for 4 from 3, also an issue. IQ has been a problem all year long. People have been yelling at me about that. But the positives were really bright from my perspective. Like Cam Reddish with RJ out has been unbelievably good. And can we just talk about my boy Grimes? You guys wanted to give away Grimes in a Cam Reddish trade? I think I'm not even joking, Alex. Maybe I'm prisoner of the moment. I've been loving Grimes all year. He's untradeable. Like him and RJ. And then comma Randle and Mitch, like those are my 2/4 untradables. He doesn't like Grimes is there and IQ isn't. Am I crazy right now? Am I just a prisoner of the moment?
I think it's slightly a prisoner of the moment type feeling to feel like Quickly is not that guy. I mean, I feel bad for Quickly because he's good.
I don't think he's bad.
No, but the thing is, he
needs D Rose back.
Exactly. He is not ready to have the full reins of being a point guard if that's what this team wants to do. If that's what and look, I get it. Point guards take 4 to 5 years. It's talked about. We could talk about Mike Conley. We could talk about Kyle Lowry. We could talk about Jalen Brunson. We could talk about any point guard in this league. All right. That just takes time for them. All right. It just does. And that's the reality of it. So Quickly he's not ready. And that's why when you watch him, it's frustrating because he's out there on an island most nights because he can't get into the teeth of the defense. He starts dribbling between the legs, going left and right, where that does nothing. You're just shifting a defense at the top. Doesn't really create any separation for anybody else to go attack. And so it's just frustrating to watch. I think it's a prisoner of the moment because this season really has gone off the rails. We don't have Derrick Rose. That's like that's the leader of the second unit. And watching it just makes everyone else struggle. Obi struggles, Quickly struggles. It just sucks. Burks struggles because Burks is asked to be this point guard. Yo, crunch time minutes. This man's like getting ready for half court sets. I'm like, yo, push. Yo, you gotta get stuff going. We're dropping here.
It's not his game, and he knows it. Like that's the one thing I respect about it, right? So at least he knows his place a little bit to not do something that he can't. But dude, what I don't know. Like yesterday was a game where I kind of wanted McBride to play, and I was hoping that he can get in when we were blowing them out a little bit. And then as it got tighter, we almost needed a player like McBride. But obviously, if he's not coming in when we're up a bunch, he's not going to come down when we're about to lose it. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. But I'm really not that guy to always say, oh, the Knicks are struggling, start Obi. Oh, the Knicks are struggling, last year, start IQ. I was against both of those. Yeah. But dude, I really do want McBride to play a little bit, especially because he's fulfilling the need that like you have a need, and that's his skill. You know what I mean? It's not like you need a scorer and you're like, okay, we don't have anyone else. Let's just try McBride. He did it in Westchester. Like, that's not the case. He's an on-ball defender. Like, can we just have that? Can we just have that? He likes
no.
He
not to Tibbs. Not to Tibbs, man.
The ball. All right, let's talk about it.
Can I just say this?
Let's talk about Tibbs. Yeah,
let's talk about Tibbs. And this is where I want to start. All right. Beginning of the fourth quarter, right? We start off the fourth quarter, 92 to 77. 92 to 77, right? You're like, all right. Then it gets down to 94-84. That's when he calls the first timeout. I was like, you let them get to 94-84. That's when you want to call a timeout. Not when you start seeing Elijah Hughes starting to make a 25-foot three-pointer and just like galvanize the team. You don't want to do that one. You have Josh Hart who's making a easy layup, just going coast to coast on you. No, that's the way you want to do it. Okay. The next time he calls a timeout, 99-98 Blazers. What the actual hell? You see your team struggling. The next couple of minutes, I would just call another timeout, be like, yo, guys. And I get it. The second unit did absolutely nothing when they went back out there in the fourth quarter. They did absolutely nothing. But you know what? And then he had to bring in the guys, the veterans, the starting unit. They were all gassed because they just played the entire third quarter. But what do you expect, dude? If you're not staggering minutes over here and you're allowing your guys like Julius Randle playing a full 12 minutes in the first, a full 12 minutes in the third.
He played plus 40.
Yo, like, what are we doing? Like, actually, what are we doing? I don't know.
Grimes played like 40 minutes too. It had to be like around there.
I don't know, man. It's like, what are your thoughts about that? Yeah, Grimes played 37. Randall played 41.
Exactly. Yeah, they both played like 40 minutes. No, it's I want to try to understand your gripe, because I've heard the tip stuff all year, and I've been on the side of like coach of the year, guys. Coach of the year.
I'm not against that.
So I know. So here I am. So I want to know your real problem here, because is it really the timeouts? Is it the trade deadline stuff coming in? No. Is it the rotation?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me. It is the rotations. Okay. I feel like it's too. Shout out to my guy JD over at Knicks Fan TV. He calls it template coaching for like the first three quarters, and it really is. You know who's playing the entire first. Granted, if there's no one fouling out or stuff like that, the Stars are going to get like 8 to 9, 10 minutes starting. Then you start slowly bringing your second unit. They play most of the second quarter. You pull them back out. You put your stars back in before the half ends sometimes. Then they start and play the entire third quarter. So they're gassed. Now you're ready for the second unit to come back in for the fourth, and they play like 5 minutes, depending on who's playing well.
The third quarter is when we really fall on our faces usually.
Exactly. And why is that? Because guys are tired, man. You just brought them back in to finish off the first half. Now you're starting them again and letting them play out the entire third quarter. Granted, they were on fire that third quarter. Like we had 39 points. Like they were on it. No qualms. But it's how do you start the game? How do you like maneuver? And sure, you could talk about Mitch's injury, Cam's injury, like that really impacted this game too. Like we had no rim protection going down to the end. And that was another thing. Like you wanted to use Taj. I love Taj, but like if you need rim protection, like Jericho Sims out there, you got Jericho Sims that you could use. I'm not saying Jericho's great, but you let Taj be out there on an island.
Well, first of all, he's the only person that can set screens on the whole team. And Sims is I feel like he needs 2 off seasons, but he needs at least 1 off season, man. He really gives me Obi last year vibes, where he's just kind of confused on defense. He's a little raw, but he's smart. Like he knows how to play basketball. He has the body for it, but he's just not in the right spots.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't disagree with that, but in a time when you just need bodies, like you
Where's Nerlens Noel, bro? Where is the bionic Michelin man, dude? Where is he? He was a Michelin man all year last year. Every time I see him on the sideline, he's wrapped up in ice. Where is he? He can't. Like, what happened? I don't understand. He just got paid and that was it. I have no
idea where he is.
I'm not even critiquing his play when he at least It makes sense.
How many games do you think he's played this season?
Oh my, 6 games.
Yeah, you're okay. You're being a little too facetious.
What is he at? Like, how many games? 12?
25.
Yeah, like how many minutes is he playing in those games?
Between the 25 12. Games, he's averaged 22 minutes.
Like he's so frustrating, he's so annoying. Like that's how bothersome he is. That's how, regardless of how like the actual stats, this is how I feel. Like I feel like he's half of everything that you said, because he's just been a non-factor, and that's why we have to play freaking Gibson for half an hour yesterday, and we have to throw in Sims in there, and we're like, oh, Gibson's not that guy. Of course he's not that guy. All right. Do I have to ask about the Mitch extension? Like, can we rely on him, dude? Could he have like a month of good basketball, or is it only going to be like a week, like a game here and there? Like, how do you feel about this Mitch situation, man? He's injured every once a month, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, he came back from the back injury. You can see that he was laboring. Ankle was just like a weird way he just fell. But you know what? Even with all his injuries, he's played most of the season. I mean, he's played 51 games.
He's killed it this whole year.
Yeah, no,
but you know, Ari from Manhattan, your boy from Knicks Fan TV, likes to always say, "Man, contract year."
Yeah, I believe more so in Mitch than Nerlens Noel. I'd pay Mitch.
Of course. I'm just asking if there's a cause for concern, because now if we're paying more money for the center, and now it's still Noel on the books.
No, we're having a problem. We got to figure out how to get. We have to figure out how to get Noel off these books. That's the goal.
Okay.
Noel.
I just see a logjam. We have
Noel, you got your contract. Thank you for that impeccable season to help us be the fourth best defensive team. You got to go, man. This is gross.
Honestly, God, I'm really not living in just because of the last game and how bad Fournier was. I know he was really good for us and a catalyst of, the games we win. But we honestly need to get rid of him for Grimes. Like, he needs to take Grimes' spot, because I need Grimes and RJ in. And I know that we're paying Fournier and he has to play, but I don't want him to. So
I know, and this is like the issue, because he's paid, so he's probably gonna be here for another year. Like, I can deal with an inconsistent player if I know I'm getting defense. Like Grimes, I know he's inconsistent, but I know that he's not going to stop playing defense. I know he's going to be out there and be tenacious.
I would like his shot way more than Fournier needs to do a bounce back, step back shot in order to go in.
It's too much.
I feel like he could hit him. Like I would trust his shot more than Fournier. I don't care.
And this guy Fournier, like I told you, like I've been off. He's been playing well, but 1 for 13, bro. 1 for 13. Yo, this is the other thing. I get it, like Cam probably would have closed the game yesterday, like if he didn't roll his ankle. But bro, 1 for 13.
So frustrating that he rolled his ankle yesterday. We really could have used him.
Anybody else, like I would have even pulled him for Quickly and used just Quickly's defense and the hope that playing off ball gets him activated. I don't even know. 1 for 13 is inexcusable.
IQ was so bad too yesterday. He's been so bad without D-Rose, man.
Oh man, it stinks for IQ, man. Like he's shooting like below 20% from 3 in the month of February so far through 6 games. It's rough for him. Like it is really rough for him. He's shooting below 30% from the field in February as well. It's rough for him. He's struggling. And I feel bad, like we talked about earlier, but this is not who he is. I know we keep saying this, like development is not linear. You're going to take side steps. You got to go back a little before you can go forward. Any sorts of life, your like personal career, so forth. I feel so bad for this dude because I know he's good, but it has been a struggle. Talk about a sophomore slump, man. Really. But dude, I don't know, man. The Knicks, this is where I just get back to like, what are we doing for the season, man? This is where I'm like, it's a head scratch when I see this type of L. I'm like, bro, you cannot be like, you can't be having easy games like this and then just let it unravel.
Doesn't matter, Alex. We're 2 games out of the play-in. We got 2 games before the All-Star break. Let's just stay positive until this All-Star break, because if we lose to OKC and we lose to the Nets, now we're talking out. Now we're
that's that. So that's your limit. I just want to. That's your limit. If we lose to one of them or both of them, is it one or both?
If we lose both of these 2 games,
okay.
If we go on a 3-game losing streak going into the All-Star break, to the Portland Trailblazers, OKC, and whatever this Nets team is over. Like that.
Then you want to see all the young guys. Then you want to see all the young guys, pull everybody. Let's just see what they got for the remainder of the season.
I'm team start McBride if we lose the next 3 games.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. The man who's been holding out longer than me.
So bad.
No, I don't even look, dude. I said this on Knicks Fan TV last night. I am all for competitive season. I hate tanking. I really, really hate tanking. But there are some points where you're just like, you got to see what it is and artfully take it for what it is. You know, the Warriors have done it. The Raptors have done it. Warriors did it when they didn't have Steph and Draymond that season and Clay, right? And they could have had them. They could have used them, but they're, you know what? Let's rest these guys. They've been going through a lot. And who they get? They get James Wiseman. Fine. Before, was it last season? Raptors were legitimately tanking. They were like resting Kyle Lowry, even though he was ready to play. Guys like that. Who they get? Scotty Barnes. We're talking about upgraded talent. You want to go back all the way to the Spurs? Remember when the Admiral had foot issues? They tanked. Guess who they got to go side by side? Tim Duncan. Sometimes when you get
he's okay.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're all right. They're those guys are all right. But all I'm saying is that I don't like tanking, but that sometimes you got to look at the situation. And in this case, we just don't have talent. We should not be like, I feel bad for Randle because he did legitimately everything. Sure, we don't have RJ, but the fact that even with only Randle out there going Nova, and then you also have Grimes going Nova, Walker gives you a good game. And what do you still give up a 23-point lead? To me, that just says we need more talent. That's all that screams to me. And that's where I'm at this point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave it to you.
Point guard.
We also need that. We need a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
Not everything, but we need a point guard. We need more talent on this team. Okay. Yeah. And I'm for me, I'm so disappointed. I'm ready for it, man. I just let's just get somebody in the draft that can come and help. And hopefully we get Jalen Brunson, because there's no way Tibbs is going to want to groom another point guard. Get me Jalen Brunson. Get me a talented wing or big. Get somebody else in here to come help, because that's where I'm at. But I feel you, man. I know you want to. I would love to think like playing and stuff like that. I'm just watching this team, dude. I just don't have that. I think they fully broke me. Yesterday, they fully broke me.
I know. Yesterday, I get it. And you're not being irrational, honestly, if you're off this team after that Portland game. That was really tough. If they lose the next 2 games, tanking for this team is not really difficult. Right? He just shut down Randle for the rest of the season, start Obi. You know what I mean? You could sit
actually, I don't think you even need to shut down Randle. I think you should still give him his minutes, let him still like work out whatever issues he had. Just reduce it. You don't need to play him 37 minutes. 30.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. And then put McBride in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's all you have to do. It's really not that difficult to
it's not
to quote unquote on purpose tank games for this team. Like, it's really not going to be a tough task. But I still believe in this team. I know what was me. As Knicks fans, everything is about us. What we lose, we're the worst team in the league. We win, we're the best team in the league. We beat the Warriors. We were going to go to the championship just 2 days ago, and now you know what I mean. It's time to tank.
I love this. I love this fan base. for all the flaws, I love this fan base.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, let's just chill out. If we lose the next 2 games, dude, it's bad. Like, the standings were still okay. Like, think about, you know, the 2 other, legitimately the 2 other teams with us last year that were supposed to be like, okay, next year, like, they're going to be the resurging squad, the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets. Like, we're also with them fighting for a play-in spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the Hornets with LaMelo, that guy that everyone was freaking out about, and Bridges, who's dropping 40 on us. Like, and they're making good trades. They're also right there. So, in all honesty, the East is really, really, really good. And
no, for sure. Yeah.
What separates the number, let's say 4 or 5 from the number like 8, 9 is really not that much.
You know what it is? A point guard.
A point guard. Okay, that's fine. I'll take a point guard. I'll take the point guard. I don't think Tibbs is that bad. I agree.
I don't think Tibbs is. I have gripes with Tibbs, like the rotations and who he's giving minutes to. Like, I like having RJ tweak his ankle. Like, why was he in there that late? Like, I have gripes. Tibbs is a very good coach, right? I know that. He's one of the most winningest coaches in the NBA. You don't get there unless you're a good head coach. There's just a lot of things wrong with this team. There's a lot of things. And we've also had our bad luck. And it's not one person, it's not one issue. There's so many issues with this team this season, and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. In the micro, it sucks. In the macro, as long as they continue to build well, that's fine. And it's not going to be all linear. Okay. We saw, look, let's talk about where the Bucks were, just as like, even though they're much further in their development and the stage of like where they were competing for a title, right? We saw 2 seasons ago, they go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, lose to the Raptors when the Raptors had Kawhi, and the Raptors win that year. Following season, they go to the bubble, lose first round to the Miami Heat. They get their asses handed to them. Following season, they return the favor to the Heat, and they go back and win. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all going to be like, okay, they continuously go like, all right, you made the first round. Okay. Now then the second round. Okay. Then the third round. It doesn't work like that. And this was a team that was all over the place, like depending who their matchup was. And so in relation to the Knicks, okay, we made the playoffs. Now we're out. We're on the outside looking in of the play-in. If we even make the play-in, still development from where the hell we were for the last 20 years. Not all 20 years, but you know what I mean? Like the last 8, 9, 10 years. 8 to 10 years, like just not even being competitive. This is still, I still look at this team as vastly improved from where it was from when we had Kevin Knox winning player of the month because we have talent. But this season, man, I just look at it as it's not a lost season. It's just a down bad season. That's it. Like I would like to see them. I don't know, man. I got actually the more to think about it, I want to wait until like the entire season plays out to see how I feel like about everybody, because I'd like to have Randle part of this team to be competitive. I'm not a guy who like hates Randle. Who's like,
hell yeah,
get out of here, get out of here.
Randle's
I'd like to see
sitting for tanking. That's what I'm saying. If you want to tank, you just sit Randle, throw Obi in, have everyone's wet dream of Obi starting, come true, and call it a day. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the thing with like Randle is, how do you bring in a number one option when you already have a third option? Because usually it's like some of these teams are lucky enough where they have like a two. Like I guess unless you're in the Raptor situation, you had a two and a third option, right? DeRozan and Lowry, and then Lowry guard to be competitive. Yes,
we have a number 2, we have a number 3, and we have a number 4. Right? We have a shooting guard, we have a small forward, we have a power forward in Grimes, RJ, and Randle. It's solidified. Right. We also have a center, right? Mitch Robinson exists, right? At some point, he existed in his, in his enigma when he's there. Okay. So what we really need is a point guard. Like we just need a point guard, man. Like I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it. We just need a point guard. And nothing's gonna change.
I know we need a point guard, but we also need
that's the only advantage to me of tanking.
But we
could at least see McBride play real basketball games.
But we also need just a player who is just somewhat unstoppable, man. Like who can easily just get their own. Like Randle's somewhat stoppable. Like he's not stoppable.
So
but he's not.
We could be like the Bucks, like you said. We could be like the old Hawks, like the Corver Hawks.
If you get a point guard in here, that's we're then Spurs East. We're like that. That
sounds
moniker.
Fantastic, bro.
I agree. I don't disagree with that.
11th seed right now.
I don't disagree with that I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I'm just looking for like that next step of champion. I'm thinking like championship, like expectation.
We're a championship team if we have a point. If we have a point guard, like yesterday doesn't happen. Like 3 or 4 games this year that we're supposed to win don't happen, right? And then maybe even games that we're not competitive in at all, we start to become competitive in. Oh, just because we have a floor general. And maybe when D-Rose comes back, we start getting these fake Knicks comeback and they become real comebacks, these fake Knicks wins, and then we get excited about it as if we have a real team now because there's a point guard playing. Like that might happen.
If we don't win this week for you, I think they need to shut down D-Rose for the remainder of the season. Don't even play him. Save him.
Well, honestly, for him, he probably wants to play for like 10. He's probably not going to play 25 minutes, but like probably wants to play, just so he could like start getting into the.
I feel you. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
He's the man, dude. Him, like he goes to the bike after every timeout. Like he's just chilling. He talks to the fans. Like he's like I don't care about basketball anymore. I just love the Knicks. Like he is like in another zone. Him and like Klay Thompson to me are just like in a whole nother zone.
You're
Like
talking
they
about my
know
two favorite players right there.
like, they know what's good.
They're
Yeah,
zen.
well, for a reason.
They're zen.
Yeah, they know
They're
what's
zen.
good. They know what's good for their body. They know what's good for their team. Like I just trust both of those guys. Like with their decisions. You know what I mean? So
For sure. Well, let's get into these last two matches this week, man, and get out of
you know
here.
how I feel. You know how I feel.
I know how you feel. You got two wins.
I got two W's. I might show up to one or both. Like I'm pissed off. Like I need to be around the team. I need some wins, and I think we're gonna get them.
I'm gonna go with you too. It should be 2 wins against the Thunder and the Nets.
That sucked, dude. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Well, they got nobody. They have Kyrie can't play. Harden is gone and Kevin Durant's hurt. So the Nets legit have nobody. If we lose to the
I
Nets,
hope Seth Curry doesn't play because he lights us up. That's it.
If we lose to the Nets, I'm packing everything up. Packing this entire season up.
All right.
And same thing with Thunder.
Because he's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game.
They got Shea,
even though they suck.
Alexander. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't get wins though. But they're coming to the Garden.
We'll see
Valentine's Day at the Garden.
Oh boy.
I might do it.
Either the Knicks are sending people home happy, or it's going to be a sour Valentine's Day.
I might do it. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore, Alex.
I don't know either. Well, I think on that note, I think this is a good place to wrap it up, John. So everyone, thank you for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks Jets Etc. podcast. We're down bad, but we still love our orange and blue. Don't worry, guys. We're still here for you. But please make sure to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. We're on all listening platforms: Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. If you listen to this podcast on Spotify or Apple, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a comment. We'll read it out. If you leave us a new comment, we'll read it out for you guys to hear, to say thank you, because we appreciate all the love and support from you guys, all of our listeners. We really do. Thank you guys for always tuning in for these episodes. It really means a lot for us. We're also on YouTube, guys, so make sure to go subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And when you watch a video, just hit that like button. Just a polite thing to do. Come on. We know your parents raised you. Come on. We know you got some manners. We know your parents raised you. Come on, guys. And then while you're over there, make sure to check out Winning Picks Weekly. We got John and video producer Greg doing the NFL slate. They got NBA action coming along the way. I'll hop on some of those episodes to give you some of my,
Knicks fan TV takes. Alex takes.
Some of my what is it? My parlay takes for prop betting. Come on, guys. I'll give you some of that talk. And then last and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks Jets Etc. podcast. We out.
Let's go Knicks, baby.